So today it is not CB radio, it's amateur radio, and so if you don't want to see amateur radio, turn off now, because this is what it's about. And this is the fourth of the AKD British built radios, and they are still being produced, but Spectrum Communication does the 4-metre only one as far as I recall. But at the time there was a 2-metre one, the 4-metre one, and that's 70 meg region for those who don't know, the 6-metre one which is in the 50 meg region, and then finally the 7003 which is the 70 centimetre one. This is the last one which I managed to obtain, and the others all work great and we've got no issues. As I've said before, I'm not into the big 3 Kenwood ICOM Yaesu type of equipment. It's not my cup of tea. I'd rather build stuff from scratch, but we do have these AKD ones simply to do these videos. It was, that was the triggering reason to buy them, and because they were British and because they look more like business radios and they didn't have stupid meters that don't interest me. So this is a 7003 and I paid £32 for it from a radio rally. All the other ones are switchable between 5 watts and 25 watts. Rubber band goes in vertical filing cabinet. Now, try as I might, I haven't found a circuit diagram for this, so anybody who's got a circuit diagram, I'd be happy to receive that. What we did get with this was the instruction book, and it has the what channel does what. Now, our local repeater, GB3GR, is on a different split to what this is programmed with, so we cannot, we're able to listen to it. No, I don't think we can even listen to it. No, we can't even listen to the repeater. So no doubt this will boot up on 433.5, which is the calling channel. 433.5 is somewhere there. SU20, another popular channel, is going to be moving it to SU22, so it's going to do that. But most of my stuff is done through the GR repeater. Now, I've been licensed since '79, and in those days you thought, what band shall I be on? You didn't go on all of them like they do these days with a big checkbook, and I decided I was going to be on 77s, always known as the gentleman's band. Rather than do you think that was, I wonder if that was a snobbish thing? I don't know why they said that, but it was a band where there wasn't much commercially available gear available, and that appealed to me because it meant I could put on ex-business radios, and I've shown you the Maxon PM150 and the Maxon PM100. I've even shown you the Apex 520 handheld we've got. I've got a Maxon SL70 on there, I've got Maxon SL10 on there, and I've got a Maxon SL500 on there, which were originally £699. I didn't pay that for it. So business radios on there, or stuff built from scratch, appeals to me. I was always sad that Heathkit never did anything on 77s, because what I like about Heathkit is somebody has at least built it in the first place, and the enormous manual with 180 pages means that anything that ever goes wrong, I will be able to sort out. Whereas we go back to the Kenwood ICOM Yaesu, especially these days with surface mount stuff and computer control stuff, it isn't going to work for 50 years. I'm sure it isn't going to work for 50 years, and that's my criteria. Once I've bought a radio, don't buy it. That's it. It doesn't get sold. That's it. I bought them for keeps. So imagine my dismay then when I read the instruction book. I've already just said that they all do 5 watts or 25 watts. Any guesses what the power does on here? I said this to Mr. Chippy. I said, he says probably 10, because it's more difficult to do UHF. How about it doesn't do that? How about it doing, when I can even find it, it does 3 watts. This is going to be the most disappointing radio I've ever owned. So when we do scratchy corner test on this, I'm going to get Mr. Chippy to set the radio in the test car to 5 watts. We haven't got less than 5 watts. And we're going to talk to him on this, and he's going to tell me whether he can hear me around Scratchy Corner. I think that we are going to get Wilsford level crossing with it. It's got the wrong screws in it, I'm sure. I'm sure the Phillips type. Who's pinched the screws? Am I taking the right lid off? Probably not. It's probably going to be that one, isn't it? Oh, look, somebody's rubbed their name off there. Look at that. It said, stolen from Lincolnshire County Council. I'd love to go up the road with my ratchet van on 3 watts UHF and see if I get any contacts. See, this is it. I'm not into the 500 watts. If I was licensed for 500 watts, I'm only licensed for 400. We don't have anything here that's more than... Oh, it's the wrong board. There's more than 100. Because power doesn't interest me. It's what's called QRP that interests me. I once had Russia on UHF SSB, and he was doing 1/10 of a watt. It's just one of those weird weather conditions. I was doing 12 watts. Wrong lid. Now what I'm hoping is that Spectrum Communications eventually do a PROM upgrade to incorporate more modern channels and CTCSS. Yeah, so I think this is the last one they produced, and I think they lost the will to live trying to produce a set that did decent power. I'm just so sorry they didn't do 10 watts because I can't see 3 watts. We're going back to Pi Westminster 1970 days for 3 watts. And there were more powerful Pi Westminsters. So I haven't got any idea what... I mean, it looks to me like we're going to end up with those being transmit, they're all trimmer capacitors, and those being receive. I think that's just my feeling. That's going to be the detector. That's going to be an IF. Yeah, right. It says do not apply power to the radio with the radio already switched on, or you can end up corrupting the EEPROM. I've never tried this. It's just as it came about 2 years ago. So we've powered up. The power supply's on 13.8 volts. It should boot up on channel 20. And it does. So let's switch to picture in picture. We'll put the test set on 3 watts. So if we're getting 3 watts, we'll have a full scale deflection. We must be... Don't tell me it's got low power. Oh, I'm on 30 watt range. It's doing 2.7 watts. So let's see what we've got on receive. I'm going to have to edit this because I'm going to have to turn the signal generator from 27 megs to 433, and that takes some range changing, I can assure you. Okay, so it's receiving, and I'll tell you what, we'll put the synod meter on it and see what it's receiving at. This video is going to appear before we've done the Alba CB hand portable from yesterday's. Either it's on the air test where we put it on the bench here, or it's field test where Mr. Chippy goes out with the body cam. There just wasn't time to do it yesterday. It was our radio club meeting. We decided to take my Heathkit HW100 as a bit of a club show thing, and see whether we could find out why it wasn't transmitting. And what we did find, there is a duff resistor in the transmitter, so I'm going to get that replaced during the course of today. Because we've got two of those, one lives in our van and the other one wants to live at home, because it told me. Okay, so we now go over, we better check it's on frequency, because, no we won't, why should we? So, this did come from an amateur radio supplier, but I don't know whether it was sold to me as spares or repairs or what. I can't remember. What button do I press? We want, oh yeah, it's number 4. So for 12 decibel synad, I've actually got 0.88 microvolts. So I'm going to make a note of that. I'm sure we'll find something to write. Oh. A bit of a Duracell thing. AKD, 2.7 watts and 0.88 microvolts for 12 decibel synad. So that's where we are. What's it supposed to do? Receiver. Better than 0.25? Yeah, right. That works great then, doesn't it? So we'll now see whether it's on frequency. So it should be 433.5. So it's a little low. I'm going to trim it, but the test set's only been on 10 minutes and we don't want to make any permanent adjustments till the test set's been on for 30 minutes. What do we think the trim is going to be for that? Oh, it's going to be there, isn't it? Let's change glasses. Cleans glasses on t-shirt. So we'll go for this trimmer. $433.55 is what we're looking for. I think it's going to be that. I'm right. That's taking us down. Well, that's pretty good. So we could say that's spot on. Now, has that affected the sensitivity at all? It has. The radio is now receiving at 0.495 of a microvolt just by putting it on frequency. So let's have a look at the detector. I will be doing the transmitter first, but I just thought we'd do this. That was spot on. Right, here goes with transmit. Let's see whether we can get the magic 3 watts out of it. So, looking at this lineup, I'm expecting it's here because you see you've got these trimmers, and in between them you've got what are clearly MOSFETs which will be used in the receive. So I'm not sure which way this is working. This could be the driver, this could be the PA. I just... What happens if I turn that one for a start? Right, well, it doesn't affect receive. So let's go to transmit. Well, it certainly affected transmit because we don't have any anymore. So that's peak. That's peak. We're now over 3 watts. Probably better change scales. It's 3.5 watts. .5 and a bit, and it's drawing 0.93 of an amp, so that's fine. So we'll leave it at that. It's doing 3.5 watts. We're not detuning anything. May as well let it be its full resonance. So that's working very well now. So we're doing 3.5 watts, but it's sold as a 3 watt set. So it's capable of doing that. So that was straightforward. So if you didn't see, we started off with the driver round up there and then the final output there. Not touching that, that's going to be the VCO. So let's have a look at receive. So if I have the cyanide meter on now, we'll have it about there, just over 4 decibels. I'm just going to check that's not a transmit one. It is. I've upset transmit. So I wonder if this is transmit as well. No. So that's receive. 0.5. I'm going to run through it again, see whether we can do this again. See what that reads. Yeah, 0.495. We're not going to get better than that. Now, we can switch our signal generator to 2 modes, like a lot of these laboratory ones you can, EMF or PD. I never know which we're supposed to be doing it in. I just do it in the hardest one, and it doesn't say. So if I put it to, we're on EMF, if I put it to PD, potential difference, what reading would I get then? The answer would be 0.215 microvolts. I don't normally have it in that mode. So, that's it. I'm not going to touch that IF one, we don't need to. That was pretty well aligned. The fact I've been able to get half a watt more out of it, you know, is that it is what it is. So that is all there is. Why do they go around in circles? Because they're nuts and bolts. That's it. That's all there is to it. So just to recap, we found the receive is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trimmers there. Detector, that'll be IF, we don't need to touch. And the transmitter lineup. I'm being attacked by that Moonraker Master again. He's always trying to attack me. Transmitter lineup we found was from there round those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that will leave us with deviation if there is one. Now come on, there has to be, surely. No. I better check what it is anyway. This is where we have to retune the test sets. It's not an automatic modulation meter, it's manual. So we need to put 433.5. You know what, I'm going to move the camera across so you can see this. I've never done this with you. So we have a dial here, and I have got 420, 430. I'm about where I should be. So we've got AM, then for FM we've got 0.5, 5 and 25 spacing. So we've got it on 5, and normally we're going to be looking at 2.5 as the absolute maximum for citizens band. But in this case, it's going to be different space. It's going to be 25 spacing, so it's going to be 5 kilohertz FM. So we're looking at full-scale deflection. So I've got a big range thing here, and I've now got that on UHF. We've got automatic frequency control on. So So I just need to tune around while looking at another meter on the right. And that should be the right position. Wallow, and it is. So now if we go back to that meter, wallow, 1 2 1 2, testing 1 2. It's averaging 4 to 4.8. So that is correct deviation. Why? Oh, there is. It's there. It's that preset just there. So we'll now get the little oscillator out, and now we can see it, and we can just adjust that little tiny bit, hopefully, with the right tool. Wallow, there we go. So that's a bit nearer the 5 as a peak. So that's deviation. These are fitted with 100 channels. So I can't put it on the aerial here and flick round, but we will do an on the air test with Mr. Chippy. I'll tell you what we will do. Yeah, I will. I'll just go into my living room, if that's what it's called. It isn't really. It's not like anybody else's. There's no television or easy chairs or anything. And we'll put this on the air. I'll have to use the camcorder, and then I'll have to amalgamate the two types of formats. But I can do that, so we will. So I'll see you in the living room. We'll put it on the air. So I've got it perched on top of Mr. Chippy's Yaesu FT290 Mark II, which I've been doing slow morse on with my friend Stuart. So at the moment that's set on SU22. So we'll just have a flick around here. We start off at channel 16, which is SU16. CQ70 for a radio report. This is G0OJF, CQ70. CQ70 for a quick radio report. CQ70, G0OJF. CQSU22 for a quick radio report. This is G0OJF. What we might be able to do is, if there's any repeaters in operation, like the Lincoln one, we won't be able to get into it, but channel 69. So that's on Lincoln Cathedral. If I key up, I'm unlikely to get into it. It doesn't have CTCSS. CQS20 for a quick radio report. This is G0 OGF, CQS-20. Okay, well that's heard a whole pile of nothing. So we'll be doing an on-the-air test later on with Mr. Chippy. And there's a demonstration of 3 watts of 70 centimetres.